Alright, so let's take a look at clavicular mechanics as they apply at the SC or sternoclavicular joint. As we know, whenever you move your arm overhead, either forward, sideways, or straight up, or even in a scapular plane, the clavicular is the main attachment point to the body, the trunk, or the axial skeleton. Let's imagine this pencil represents my clavicle. And so I place this here, so you have two ends. You have the proximal end, and there's a little eraser there, which actually fits nice. Would be the disc, the fibrocartilage disc that connects the clavicle and the manubrium, and then the distal end here will be the pencil tip that's going to come in contact with the acromion. As we do movement of the clavicle, we name that movement based on where the distal end goes. So if I go overhead, my distal end is going to go up, so you could see this distal end go up, so that's considered elevation, and as I come down, that's considered depression. Or if I'm in neutral and I depress my shoulder further, it's the distal end. Even though the proximal end, where the eraser tip would be coming up slightly, we name the motion based on the distal end of the joint. And the same with the humerus and other joints within the body, the distal end of the bone. So what happens is as I go overhead, you'll notice that with the pencil, and you can try this on yourself, is that the distal end is going to go superior, so it's going to roll in a superior direction, but the proximal end that's going to contact the manubrium is going to roll, or excuse me, glide or slide in an inferior direction. So those are opposite motions for the convexity of the proximal end of the clavicle articulating with the manubrium. So once again, as you do overhead motion, abduction or flexion, you're going to get an elevation of the clavicle, and we're going to say that that is going to be described osteokinematically as clavicular elevation. But arthrokinematically, in order for that motion to occur at the SC joint, you need to have both simultaneously happening at once. You need to have a superior rolling of the shaft or the distal end of the clavicle, and at the proximal end, as that occurs, you're going to get an inferior gliding or sliding of that, and it's of course the opposite for depression. So trying the pencil may help you to visualize that and feel that more. Also, if you just palpate the proximal end of the clavicle, you might feel it move somewhat. It's more prominent if you feel the distal end, so as you palpate the distal end and as you move overhead, you'll feel the clavicle shift in that direction. Hope that helped clarify what happens at the clavicle with overhead motion.